Welcome to another one-shot review brought to you by the students of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm your host, Mikey, and joining me today are my two panelists, Declan and Yooni. And today, as of the title and thumbnail on this video, is our first part review for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, streaming on Disney Plus at the moment. And we're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes, and then later on we'll come back and talk about the other half of the season. So so we'll get right to it. Yeah, Declan and Yooni, thanks for joining me today.
Good to be here.
Yeah, no problem. All right, yeah. So we'll just get right into it. So to start off, I just want to get what are your first impressions of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Declan, you can go first.
Thank you. Yeah, I really like the first 2 episodes. I think the acting, the dialogue, it's all very nice. It feels much more MCU than the last series we got, WandaVision. Gives me a lot of Winter Soldier vibes. Feels a lot more spy espionage-y. I liked seeing some universe growing. I thought it was cool that we got John Walker. I know everyone hates him, but it's cool to see another like comic book character come onto the big screen, I guess. It's just a solid show, I think. Episode 3 felt a little slow. I hope that's not like a trend in the future, but it feels like it was a little padded out, especially with the cliffhanger at the end. Didn't feel quite as like compact and useful as they could have with that episode. But yeah, for the most part, I enjoy it. It's nice, fun little romp in the MCU.
All right, Yooni, what are your thoughts on it?
I agree with a lot of what Declan said. It's definitely like a good show, but I don't know. Episode 3 didn't feel as slow to me. The first episode was what felt slow. It kind of felt like the slow parts of the Lethal Weapon pilot, which also features a duo about fighting people. This definitely takes a lot, especially in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. This definitely feels a lot more socially relevant, even without the veterans issues and systemic racism within America subplot. And the only real downsides I have about the show is mostly just nitpicks, like no actual downsides. It's just like my own personal like I would have done it this way things. But overall, yeah, solid entry. A little by the book, like played safe feels like, but that could be just because WandaVision was so completely out there. But yeah.
Gotcha. All right, for me, I'll say that this is kind of the show I was waiting to watch. The moment all like Marvel did their announcement with with Phase 4. I did enjoy WandaVision, but like this was the show I was really looking forward to. Yeah, the first 2 episodes are like vividly episode 2 are like my favorite. The first episode was pretty, like I said, like very like reminding me of like Lethal Weapon, like especially like that Lethal Weapon pilot that you mentioned before, as well as and episode 2 was just like, this, like we'll talk about it when we break it down, but like episode 2, just that is a big reveal that I theorized previously in previous podcasts that we've done. So I was just like, yeah, like, but yeah, episode 3 I like it just because I think it's extremely fun. And there's a lot of like cool references that we notice that we get, and yeah, and especially like so I'm glad that Marvel is taking is doing the whole social commentary aspect of it, because especially because like if they didn't, I would have been very disappointed. So I'm like I'm happy that they are doing are discussing the topics that need to be discussed, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. So all right. So you guys want to talk about each episode?
Sure. Well, yeah. Let's just start with the pilot.
All right. So yeah. So the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier obviously starts off with Sam giving the shield away. So what are your thoughts on that part of the episode? I thought was like, I didn't think he was gonna give the shield away. I thought he was going to, try to be Cap and then they would take it away from him. But yeah.
I kind of assumed that the series was going to be him. I didn't think he was going to give it away. I didn't
Mhm.
think he was going to use it though. I would have thought that he'd like keep it in secret, and throughout the series grow to realize and become the person that Cap saw in him. I thought that was going to be the plot of him like having the shield in like storage, and then at the end wielding it after he like has deemed himself worthy or something like that, like training basically to
Mhm.
try and be Captain America.
Yeah, for sure. Yooni, what are your thoughts on this?
It's I will say I was also like shocked, but at the same time, in a way, it's kind of not because let's again with the whole like social commentary and political relevance thing, but also you can't really not get political with Captain America. But
Mhm.
it's it, anyone who knows American history will tell you like it's not it's hard to be a symbol for America when you're not you know am I allowed to say this part? You can't. It's hard being a symbol, like a person that is a symbol of America, when you're not, a white person. That's just kind of how history has gone. Like this is,
Yeah.
it's different from when let's say Jesse Owens ran in the Olympics, or Simone Biles as the gymnast, or the Shibutani twins at the Winter Olympics. This isn't just like a one-off event every 4 years for the world. If Sam was Cap, he had to be Cap basically until he either is killed in action or has to retire. So not exactly like shoes you can just slip. It's not like just a hand me down from grandpa. Like this is very heavy. And
Mhm.
I didn't expect him to donate it to a museum. I just kind of figured he would just hold on to it. But yeah, the giving
Yeah.
away part was a definite surprise.
Mhm. Yeah, man, it was that was like I didn't expect that at all because my fear was he was just gonna try, but then they would like the government would just take it away from him. But yeah, I agree with that. Like you can't really be a symbol unless you are like a white American, basically, because that is unfortunately the model ideal of that like mantle. So yeah, I agree with that. Uh,
Granted, yes, we're slowly making steps to change it, but that's history, sadly.
yeah, sadly that that is the way it is. Yeah, but then after yeah, but what are your thoughts on like War Machine coming in? Like I didn't know that War Machine was gonna good old Don Cheadle was gonna show up
Uh,
when that
I
happened.
I I absolutely love that. To
Hmm.
touch
Who's
on the other
who's Don
thing,
Cheadle? I saw Captain Planet. No, I'm sorry. Just
No,
continue.
no, 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 no. Yeah, the right answer was Captain Planet. That's all right. Not his name is not Don Cheadle.
Oh no,
um,
sorry. Go.
oh, thank you. With Don Cheadle, I thought like their conversation was interesting. Especially like Don Cheadle sort of forewarning him about what the U.S. government was going to do, which is whitewash the symbol again.
Hmm.
Um, I did think it was interesting. Like Don Cheadle seemed to know what Captain America like meant when he gave that shield to Sam, without Sam even knowing. Like Captain America gave that shield to Sam because the American public wasn't ready for that symbol, because they needed a symbol to rally behind in order to inspire them to become more accepting of a black man having that type of power, having that symbol. Because like in the show later on, like it does talk about how like Captain America is sort of this like rallying force. Like it's more than a man, more than an image. It's like a ideal.
Hmm.
So I think that's what Steve was trying to address. Like that ideal can't just be white men. Like it needs to be something else. It needs to have more representation. And what better way to do that than to give it to Sam, who's like the most worthy, his best
Hmm.
friend. Like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You guys are making really good points here. Like I didn't even think about the whole meaning behind what Steve meant. But yeah, well, War Machine's inclusion was really cool, and the fact that like I love how like he really like highlighted that Sam was making a really big mistake, and the fact that yeah, like him being a part of like the U.S. military and the government having those connections, realize that yeah, they're gonna ruin like what Cap's blessing for what the next Captain America should be in the representation behind that. But yeah, good points I'm making.
It's also
Um,
it's also
yeah,
like a oh sorry. It's
no,
just real quick notice. It's also symbolic of the torn friendship coming together, since symbolically Rhodey represents Iron Man in this regard, since they're both two Avengers that are now gone.
mm-hmm, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure, that's true. But yeah, like so right after that, we get that really cool fight. See that a fight sequence with the airplane and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. It kind of showcased that, like, especially with Sam, murking all these dudes. Marvel just they kill as much people as the DC heroes kill people in their movies. So
Sam's not Captain America yet. He's still allowed to kill.
yeah, exactly. Murder is still allowed.
Right.
And
um,
people say Cap never killed in Winter Soldier, but like if he's like an actual super soldier, no, he's killed everybody in that first in the Lumerian Star alone.
mhm, that's
And,
true.
and he did kill a lot of Nazis in the first film.
That is true. He did. And like speaking of the whole Lumerian Star thing, we get our return character, a character who is so ridiculous that I love, like in the comics, and I'm so happy that he came back, is Batroc the Leaper showing back up again, because he's just so ridiculous, and I love it. But I'm happy that he
He
returned.
may or may not be dead, and may
He may
or
or
may
may not be dead. And the thing is, like,
appearing in Thunderbolts.
the thing is, like, it's funny because, like, in the comics, I think they always joke around about, like, how many times they've, like, almost killed him or how many times they have killed him, and it's really funny.
I do. This is like I mean, obviously, adaptations aren't 100% accurate to their source material, but I think this is one of the times the adaptation's better because I like how Batroc is, for better or worse, an actual threat compared to a joke.
Yeah. Like, if you look up Batroc, like, in the comics, is just in a ridiculous, like, purple and yellow outfit, and just, like, and
He's
he's
just
like,
a
I'm Batroc the Leaper. Yeah, he's a typical, like, he's a stereotypical Frenchman in that. And, like, in here, he's actually, like, a pretty good threat. And the fact that, like, I love that, like, Bucky, like, no, sorry, not Bucky, Sam was having difficulty, like, actually, like, trying to fight him while he was on the helicopter, while, like, Steve, was a super soldier that could, like, whoop ass more efficiently. But, but yeah, that's anytime Batroc, we'll talk about my theories with Batroc and stuff later on in the podcast.
It was
yeah,
so nice to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was so nice to see Sam have a spotlight on him. We never really got that before. Just to see him like do his own thing by himself on his own mission. That part was very exciting for me because we never really got to see Sam on his own, how he functions when he doesn't have to like provide support for other people. He just like kicked ass with those wings. I really enjoyed that especially.
And his color palette is closer to the comic suit too.
Yeah.
That is true. That is very, very true. Yeah, but and the thing was, like, with the same, like, after that cool action sequence that was like really cool. We get our introduction to Torres, who is I think Sam's like liaison or confidant. Yeah, so like, what are your thoughts on this character? I think he's a really cool, like, partner or sidekick to Sam's character.
I will say I was legitimately shocked to see him here. It's not like Miles or Kamala where they've been around in the comics relatively long enough that you could see them on the big screen soon enough. But Torres has been like around for like what, 3 years, maybe 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's suddenly already here. And granted, with if Sam becoming Cap, it's inevitable. It's like it's a pleasant surprise. And it seems he's changed a bit though, because he's a DACA recipient in the comics.
I believe so. I believe he is a DACA recipient.
And here he's just a born and raised, Latino American.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, yeah, for audience who don't know, we didn't get his first name yet, but they're probably going to reveal that his name is Joaquin Torres, who becomes the second iteration of the Falcon character, in the comics. And it's weird because in the comics he's like a bird hybrid, but like I feel like I would imagine they'd give him the Falcon gear, when that happens, Declan, do you have any thoughts on like the whole?
Yeah, I thought he was a very cool character. I enjoyed that we got to see him again, like solo at first. See like his character personality, and it didn't rely on someone familiar to show it. He was brave, stood up to a super soldier. I just wish we got more of him. He was nowhere in episode 3. And I don't remember his parts in episode 2 that well. I wish we got more Torres, some more focus on him.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I mean, yeah, I always wanted more. But we'll talk about like with the other two episodes. The fact that I wanted more walking tours, even but I did enjoy the small bits we did get him on screen. But yeah, but this his character in this episode, was which was important, like introducing the Flag Smashers to Sam, and the fact that their mission is to get the world back the way it was during the blip, which was a fact that like they're now they again like WandaVision touched on it a little bit, but like now this is focusing on government action like post blip now, post snap, which I think is really cool. But yeah, Joaquin. I mean, I'm Torres for now, but Joaquin, yeah, it's an interesting character, but we need more. Any other thoughts on this before we move on to
Uh, this
When do
is
you think
part.
he's going to get his vampire powers?
That is a question. I also want to point out that him being in the military could still be a reference to him being a DACA recipient, mainly because
Maybe.
this is mainly related to my own studies and just the people around me. But I've seen enough people who they came to America as like really young kids and thus aren't technically citizens, but for one reason or another they couldn't apply normally, so instead they enlisted, and which if you enlist and if you serve well enough, the military just gives you your citizenship.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that could be a reference, but who can really say?
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, because that is realistic. That is something that happens in real life when it comes to DACA recipients. All right, so we'll just talk about for the rest of episode one, like the character, like the develop, like the dissection was I think was like the best part of this episode was the establishing what these characters are doing, like in their normal lives. So obviously Bucky, basically this whole arc with Bucky in the beginning was just talking about like his PTSD now that he's not the Winter Soldier anymore. The fact that he's going to mandated therapy. He has to,
I The only like curious thing about this is he in Brooklyn or like where in the
I
country
think
is he?
I honestly don't know. I thought it was on like the West Coast, but
Any big city, anywhere.
As a New Yorker, I'll tell you right now, unless the government's paying him, there's no way he can afford to live in Brooklyn.
True. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, Sam didn't get a dime, so he's probably slumming it.
But I do like his like interactions with Mr. Nakajima and to that, I guess, restaurant, diner, whatever. Yeah.
It was a rest. I think it was a restaurant.
It really did tug on my heart. I think that's why I really do like episode 1. I feel like it had the most emotion out of any of the 3 episodes so far. It felt a lot more personal when the writers were writing this episode rather than the later 2. It especially like the internal conflict between both Sam and Bucky. I just felt like is a lot better shown in these instances than later on, or at least it had more time to like linger and develop in the first episode.
Mm-hmm. That and also that reveal with the fact that Bucky in his Winter Soldier days killed Nakajima's kid was like oof, like you can feel the pain because like the props to the guy who plays him because you really feel like how like a father losing like a child, right? And the fact that like Sam did it, not Bucky did it, and that he's only friends with him inevitably because he's guilty and just can't give tell him what what really happened. It's just dude, it's good writing. It's good. Like it was a good moment there.
I think it's also especially good because it kind of sets it up to be for it to be one of Bucky's old vet friends that like served in World War II or like the Korean War. Like that's how it kind of sets it up, that he's just like an old man that served with Bucky. So that twist, like when it goes against your immediate assumption, is especially hard hitting.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing, that it was just like it was an old war buddy from like World War II or something that like Bucky came into contact with, but no, it's he killed his son and it's just guilty. Oh man, dude, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. And I love the whole their banner, like, he wanting to like, Bucky, he wants Bucky to go out to like go on a date, like, like ask that girl out. and then they had that awkward date that they had in the show. You know, I thought was really cool. But like, yeah, that arc, that reveal with that with it like that with that was really like well done. I don't know if anyone has any more thoughts on that aspect.
No, I think we cut. I'm good to go.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, then we'll move on to Sam's arc, and this is one of my favorite things because we're dealing with like Sam, what he does. Like we're getting introduced to his family, the fact that which I love the fact that like they show because like like in the comics like Sam's originally from Harlem, like in Harlem, New York, and I like how they're changing origins to make it like no, like not everyone is from New York in like the MCU. But yeah, he's from like Louisiana, and he's got like a sister and two nephews, and like it's very realistic because like they're out here like his sister like struggling with the business and their home because she took out loans during the blip, and she had no one because Sam was gone, like everyone was gone, and yeah, no, it was good. It was good stuff. So what are your thoughts on this?
I hate that banker so
No,
much.
fuck the banker.
Yeah,
No,
fuck
he's
that banker.
oh god.
No, even like people who aren't like even like non-black ethnic minorities have had that experience. So like even I've gotten that too. So like fuck that guy.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure.
he was a dick. That banking scene like was I would assume pissed a lot of like people off, especially people of color, because that's has happened to people, getting refused bank loans just simply or just any financial assistance due to like whatever because of what the color of their skin is great. And thing is like a lot of like this I've been telling a lot of people like when it comes to like that scene or just that scene in general, like they're basically like showing the whole Colin Kaepernick aspect with Sam's character, the fact that like if anyone doesn't know, obviously doesn't know Colin Kaepernick, football player, then started protesting and basically got kicked out of the NFL due to what he did. But yeah, Sam being an Avenger, he thinking that like he can save his sister because of his recognition, but then inevitably like no one really recognizes him when he's not in the costume. So they treat him like how they treat any other person of color. But then when they recognize Sam, like, oh god, it's the Falcon. Oh my bad. Fuck. It's just it upsets me, but it's good writing because it's so related. It's so real. Like I love it.
But even then, it's like, oh, you're the Falcon. Yeah, you're still not getting that loan.
Yeah, still because what was the reason? Because like he was gone for 5 years. Like like your finances are a mess.
Yeah, and they were like, even if that wasn't the case, you weren't paid while you were in upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
he didn't have any lines of income, I believe, and that's why. Even though he had like things with the military,
yeah,
but even then he was denied. Like even as a veteran.
yeah, which is insane because the fact that he has government contracts and it's still not going to, you know, and it was an interesting topic, because the guy asked like, like didn't like Tony Stark pay you like while you're in Avengers? Like no, we didn't do it for money. We just got goodwill and like connections to back us up. That's basically what it is.
And
So,
I think like all of the scenes in this episode with Sam did a really good job in establishing Sam Wilson and not just the Falcon. Before this season or this series, I didn't know who Sam was as a person.
yeah.
He was never really
understandable.
Right? Yeah. So I really enjoyed being able to see Sam and like his personality and like his family and stuff on a more personal level than him just being a side character in a Captain America movie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that like those moments and stuff like that backstory makes you care a lot more about Sam as well as Bucky as well. But yeah, I really did like the stuff with his family and like the whole realistic aspect of that stuff. I think it was so great. Yeah, so obviously at the end of the episode, just to wrap episode 1 up, we get that reveal that they didn't put the shield in the museum and that they basically just found a new Captain America in the form of John Walker. So I thought this fucking reveal was awesome. I was like, yes.
I mean, obviously, this reveal was made to infuriate everybody, and like it was very emotional seeing Sam's reaction to it, and Bucky's reaction to it. Bucky looks like he wanted to like rip his head off. I thought it was a very good cliffhanger. Man, he's so smug in that picture.
Also, like, it's aside from the perfect way to end the pilot. It's also, I mean, even without the social commentary, it was shown in Civil War. They're like, Captain America technically belongs to the U.S. government, not the person, but everything else. So it's like nothing's stopping us from giving it to somebody else. So it's a tragic but realistic outcome.
It is, unfortunately. I mean, it kind of like shows that, like, even though Cap is Steve Rogers was a decorated hero, even though he was a fugitive for a little bit, but had all these accomplishments and stuff. Inevitably, he's replaceable in terms of the U.S. government. So it's just it really like kicks you right in the ass. With like, damn, they replaced him with this dude, and like
that's it. That's it. No hate to the actor who's just only doing his job. Because I just heard he got like he had to delete his Instagram because he got so many hate comments, which isn't cool.
Which people separate, like, he's not actually the character. Come on,
Russell.
Yeah. Shout out to Wyatt Russell, who plays John Walker, the son of Kurt Russell. He's doing a fucking great job. I love it. But yeah, like just that scene alone, where like you see he just waving and he just gives the wink at them. I'm just like, wow, such a fucking douche. Like you could smell the douchiness. But no, it was a good reveal. I really dug that,
That's and it. With all that said, his costume, I was just being cheeky, but with all that said, his costume actually kind of cool. It's like it's like the game suit done right.
Yeah, like we talked about this before. Like we started. Yeah, like I said at first, I didn't like the costume when they showed like the set photos like a year ago. But like seeing it in motion and stuff, it looks good. It looks like an action figure, and I like it.
See, I think the costume suffers a little bit by being too flat. There's not much like shadow definition in it, especially like if you look at the Marvel Legends action figure of this costume, it looks like a dollar store knockoff of like a Captain America Marvel Legends you could buy because it's all just flat and without like any shading or anything. Generic, I should say. It looks like a very generic outfit.
I think because like Steve's costume had a lot of texture to it, like the scaling and all that stuff. So if they added that in, that would have been a lot better in my opinion. But I mean, it still looks cool. It still looks nice. But like it could be better.
Did they model it after the U.S. agent's most recent costume? I think he had the stripes in the front.
Yeah, he definitely did. With the black, like the recent, like the black and white costume. Yeah, like definitely because the stripe as well as like the star and with on the side, which is like a clear indicator that they modeled it off of that costume. And I love the whole like the fact that like part of his harness is the logo of his outfit. I think it's good design. I love that. But yeah, man, we got a new Captain America. We'll talk about our opinions on him further. But any other thoughts on that as well as episode 1 before we move
on? Nice music cue, changing the theme into a minor key just to show dread.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love the score in these episodes so far. It's really well done, especially the end credit score. Those choir organs.
Although speaking of score, we got to go to the next episode.
Yeah, yeah, but all right. So yeah, episode 2 of Falcon Winter Soldier. We actually get to know more about John Walker, and you kind of actually like him.
White dude married to like a Meghan Markle clone wife and has a black best friend. Totally not racist.
Yeah, like but the thing is like it's kind of interesting the fact that like when we actually like get to like hear him like talk about like his experience being like Captain America, how he just wants to be the best Captain America he can be. He's not trying to replace Steve at all, and like the fact that what he thinks like a Captain America needs is not the powers but like the guts. They'll be like, okay, like I'm actually like kind of liking this dude a little bit, He
got a great entrance. That Star-Spangled Man remix. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. That started with the parade at his old high school.
And corporate synergy getting interviewed by Good Morning America.
Yeah, exactly.
Although that does sort of like have an implicit. I don't know. Can I just mention this point real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, given our what happened to America in the last 4 years, ABC News is usually dismissed as it's a left, it's anti-right news agenda. But the host that's interviewing John for that Good Morning America segment, as far as I can tell, assuming it hasn't changed, she's usually ABC's most right wing. She doesn't like say fake news. She's not a fake news person, obviously, but in terms of like political swing, which way she swings politically, she's the most like not left. So I think that's an interesting concept.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, because I mean, it kind of is. But put on that note, because like in the comics, Sean Walker's a very obviously. They probably will do this later on, like showing his like who actually is as a character, but very conservative, very like far right. So, I mean, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, we get that cool entrance with the parade, and finding out more of his backstory of like how he got into the program, which I think was really cool. Because I asked, I think me and you talked about this before. We were questioning if if he was actually like an enhanced guy, like, or if he was just a dude, like And it turns out like he's just a dude that's just good.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure John Walker in the comics, like in the beginning when he was first introduced, like as a villain, he was definitely like a douchebag. In modern comics, like he's not a horrible human being, just like severely flawed, like all humans are, I guess. Like, and I think that's going to be the Achilles heel of this John Walker as well. Is he's trying to take up a mantle that was basically held by a demigod, and he's a human with human emotions and human greed and human desire, and we definitely saw that in the beginning when he showed fear and like showed like he didn't know if he really like deserved this mantle that was given to him. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't seem like a horrible dude. He seemed like he was kind of manipulated by the U.S. government, and
which isn't out of place for a government. Let's be real,
right,
especially
exactly. I think like in this situation, the real like evil entity is the U.S. government trying to exploit this veteran to be Captain America, and using that mental versus like John Walker, who like in the current moment doesn't seem like a like dastardly person yet.
Just needs to watch his words.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes. He really does.
Yeah, but, call Steve a brother when he's never met him. To the two people who actually are his brothers, like, no.
Yeah. No. But then we'll get that back. Oh, sorry, Declan. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. He's definitely arrogant. That is one thing that he has in waves, which again, like John Walker in the comics, very comic book accurate, where very arrogant man who somehow is able to lift Mjolnir. I'm not quite sure what happens, but he is. And
fictional or not, at least on paper, they made him like his accomplishments at least believable. Like 3 medals of honor, like only 19 people have been awarded 2, and the last person to get 2 was in World War I. So he broke a chain that's like he broke a streak that's like been there since 1920.
Yeah, true.
And like besides his personal flaws, like he seems to be like quote unquote altruistic. I
was gonna say.
No,
you can go first, Declan.
Okay. He said he jumped on grenades like Captain America did, albeit with a helmet. He served tours, all of that stuff. Like he seems like someone that would put his life on the line, I think, for someone else. In that sense, like I guess you could call him heroic, but this show seems to really be deconstructing what it means to be a hero in this universe and like how they worship heroes. So I don't know like if heroic is the right term for it.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's kind of wild the fact that like especially the most interesting part with like explaining like his accomplishments about like the MIT studied his body, the government studied his body at MIT because he was just that in like perfect peak condition, I think is kind of wild. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's believable, but you know,
It has happened when, like, when an athlete breaks a world record, and it's like, the record and the new one is a little, when the gap is a bit too big, then they do studies.
yeah,
It's
okay,
like it's it's the reason why the Olympics was created in the first place. See how far the human body can go.
yeah, true, very true, good point. Yeah, so after we introduced ourselves with John Walker and Lamar Hoskins and all that stuff in the beginning, we talk about Bucky and Sam encountering the Flag Smashers. We didn't talk about the Flag Smashers, like we forgot to talk about that before, but how Joaquin encountered them in Germany, and they thought it was just a man who was the leader, but in reality, it's this like
Oh.
young, I don't know, like 17-year-old girl who is in charge of this rebel organization. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that reveal of his character?
I mean, they're all right as villains. They're not the most captivating, honestly. Like,
They
they're just
do have the right motivation, at least. Like, you can understand why, but
yeah, they're
Yeah.
understandable. Like, they're not just maniacal villains, but like in the end, they just feel like people to punch. That like
Mm-hmm.
like they're just going to be the people that Falcon and Bucky punch. They're not like Baron Zemo level fleshed out, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, true. I mean, granted, like their motivations are like helping the people that are in I think like helping the people that are in like the camps that were either came back or were there in the first place who didn't come back. I'm very unclear on like what their intentions are. Oh no, wait, no,
They were the people that were left after the snap, and they
yeah.
I think they don't like how people that came back after the snap, like the people that were brought back, are getting like reparations and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
they
it's like the people who are left behind, like, suddenly are like on their own again, for
yeah,
better or worse.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, because like when we first see them, they're like stealing vaccines. I'm assuming from one of these like GRC camps. We could talk about the GRC in like the third episode. But yeah, I mean, like so they encounter like the Flag Smashers. Just revealed that this girl's Carly Morgenthau, who in the comics is the male version of is the Flag Smasher because it's Carl Morgenthau in the comics. Um, but yeah, that cool fight on the train I thought was on the sorry on the bus was really cool, and we get more banter between Bucky and Sam, especially the White Panther joke I love. Uh, but like the big surprise for me when it came to that scene on the flat was that we get is that John Walker and Lamar Hoskins show up, and because they did not show that in the trailers at all. So yeah, I thought it was I thought it was some good stuff. That was some good. That was a cool twist with that.
That battle scene was also like just awesome. Like the way it was choreographed. I thought like John Walker. Oh, you could go.
No, it was just something I noticed. Like, I do like love the hypocrisy, I guess, of Lamar's. Like, yeah, you guys were getting your ass kicked until we arrived. Like, did that really change after you two arrived?
No, they got wrecked pretty easily.
Those two got wrecked slightly less, and you guys got Lamar. You got like booted off the truck. You don't get a say in this.
Exactly.
I did think it was cool how John Walker, that one scene where like he ducks like and just like shoots the dude.
Yeah.
Like that was a very smooth scene.
Yeah, actually, I want to get what are your thoughts? I have a photo of that in the slide. But yeah, what are your thoughts on like John Walker using a gun? Because some people I'm hearing are not happy about that.
It's about as American as it gets, sadly.
He's only a human. I guess like Bucky did it when he had the shield,
and so did Steve. And so did Steve during the 40s.
Yeah, people forget that Steve did it in the first Avenger in World War II, which I thought was cool. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't have the shield, I mean, what are you gonna use your fists? I mean, unless you're like your Cap and have Super Soldier. like abilities. Like, dude, you gotta have a backup. So makes sense. But
And these guys are also like confirmed terrorists, you know.
exactly. Yeah, and so that gives some leeway. But my favorite thing about this fight, this encounter when that it was that when Lamar gets booted off, John used the shield quick to actually like break his fall. That was so cool. Like even though he is a human, he is like he knows what he's doing when it comes to like skills and with that shield. So yeah, uh, but yeah, that was a cool fight. I really dug it.
No, shield save, legit points on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was some cap points a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that we get some them having their banter on the ride on the like them refusing the car ride and like them picking them up. And we get the reveal that Lamar Hoskins is going by the code name Battlestar, which he did in the comics. Because originally he was Bucky. He was John Walker's Bucky in the comics, but that's it was that Bucky is like was a racial slur used at that time. So the writer changed it to Battlestar and gave him a new costume, and obviously fucking Sam doesn't. Not Sam. Bucky doesn't like the name Battlestar. Obviously, just
Because it
leaves the
sounds
car.
stupid regardless.
It does sound dumb, and it's like because it's kind of wild. Because I was talking to like my girlfriend about this, like the way like they're when John and Lamar are like on the scene, like they're bro fisting, giving themselves thumbs up and all stuff. It's like two kids, they're like two kids in a candy store that aren't taking this seriously, and that's what like pissed off Bucky, you know. So, but yeah, any thoughts on this conversation that they had this scene? That was
Yeah.
Uh,
Like it seems like both Sam and Bucky and I guess Captain America and Battlestar are kind of acting outside of their own best interests. Like if they just like sucked it up and worked with each other, these terrorists would probably have been caught like by episode 3. um, but they just have a lot of animosity towards each other, you know?
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. You have something to say as well?
first of all, like these two people who obviously have problems, with governments and higher authorities, and there's these two who are with those higher authorities or governments, which
Yeah.
is not a good sign to begin with. And we mentioned Battlestar, and it's like I can't do this and that, and then John's like, yeah, I just want to be my own cap, and I think it would help me great if I had Steve's two wingmen on my side. It's like,
Oh God.
there's me here saying like, yeah, between the four of you, which of you has actually like fought Thanos?
Exactly. Like they're not just like like they've worked like they've worked alongside Steve like as their partners, but like they're heroes in their own right because they kind of saved the world. And the fact that I like that when Sam's like like it was you almost got me until that last line, like that was really dope.
Yeah, that definitely showcases John Walker's egotistical side.
I was gonna say it seemed that dialogue reading made it seem like he felt entitled to the cap title, regardless of like how
Very.
well how worthy he felt to having it.
I think it might be that because he has the cap title, he feels entitled. Not so much that like he's entitled to the title, but now that he does have the title, he's entitled to like the benefits that he thinks it comes along with, which is equally as insane,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, man. It also like had a little bit of a resentment, showcase like the resentment that Bucky and Sam have, more so Bucky towards John Walker and Battlestar, the fact like they're spitting on the memory of Steve, they're spitting on what that shield stands for due to like Walker's arrogance and egotistical like tendencies and like Lamar just going along with it. It's just it's really it was a good moment. I really dug it. Um,
And then Sam's day is gonna get even more ruined.
yeah. So then we'll just move on to that front. So after that, Bucky says like, we have someone like maybe just let's steal the shield. And it's like, dude, last time we stole the shield, Sharon what became enemy of the state, and we and Cap were on the run for 2 years. It's like, okay, fair. But like, I feel like you need to meet somebody and make transitions to Baltimore, where we get the reveal of a character who I said would come in this show. Declan knows. I think it was Declan. Declan, were you on the MCU podcast or no?
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
I said this shit would happen, and if it didn't happen, Marvel was racist. But you get the reveal that of Isaiah Bradley showing up.
I mean, even even if the show wasn't gonna tackle systemic racism and the political reference of veterans, you can't talk about Steve's legacy and not have Isaiah in it.
Exactly.
Also, and even if that wasn't the case, Eli's teammates are all here, so like you got to get him in there somehow.
That's true. So it was basically inescapable. But yeah, man, we get some Isaiah Bradley, who I mean they changed it in this continuity wise. But in the comics is technically the first Captain America because he was experimented on by the U.S. government to create the super serum that would inevitably be given to Steve. In this series, I'm gonna hold up the book Truth, Red, White, and Black by Robert Morales and Kyle Baker that did the origin of Isaiah Bradley, who is which we know whose grandson will become Patriot in the Young Avengers. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on this reveal? I stood up and was like, holy shit, this is happening. Like I was so happy. But yeah,
it's definitely a scene that that gives you chills. The only thing is, like, after seeing Eli, I want him to be Captain America. I want the shield to go to him. Like,
not even Sam,
just
not even a grown man, just a teenager who
yes.
probably still needs to take his SATs.
Maybe that's what the world needs. I love Patriot so much. I want to see him on the.
He's one of my favorite characters in comics. I love Patriot a lot. But yeah, man, Isaiah, man, he's here, and we see that he still got it when he threw that tin into the wall, because in the comics, like since he got a more unstable version of a super soldier serum, so it kind of like gave him a form of like of super soldier like Alzheimer's, like it degraded his mind and his body a little bit, so he still didn't have so basically like he ended up him being in a wheelchair, and he had like the mind of like a child. But yeah, man, so according to Isaiah, he encountered him and Bucky had an encounter in 51 during the Korean War. So he is, instead of him being the first, he is, he came after Steve when they tried to like, I'm assuming they tried to like,
recreate
recreate the super soldier program again. And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we get to see a flashback of that, that fight, because I want to see him like this costume that we see on the screen, like in live action and all that stuff.
Remind me, did Isaiah say they met in 51 or 50?
I think he met it in 51.
Okay,
Sam said he said 51.
No, there's an interesting, like, I mean, again, this could be just me as a Korean and also who spent some time in my motherland, but
yeah,
Goyang is in the early days of the Korean War, Goyang was also home to a massacre by the South Korean authorities because that thought these civilians were sympathizing with North Korea, which in turn which I think kind of correlates to the Tuskegee syphilis experiments that in turn inspired Isaiah's creation. So I think that was an interesting touch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but very very interesting point to make, Yooni. But yeah, man. And then like this is literally Isaiah is literally Sam's worst nightmare when it comes to him taking on the mantle of Cap, because we reveal after he came back to the States after being a hero that they put him in jail for around 30 years. And and he basically was prodded and experimented on to then get samples to recreate super soldier serum once again. And yeah, and he literally was like, Sam, but get the hell out of my house, like I'm not having it. because we can see that shout out to Carl Lumbly who plays this character because he really was expressing his frustration, his pain towards how he feels about his views on what the government did to him. So any of your thoughts on that front?
My first thoughts were wait, back in 1991, Howard Stark managed to recreate the serum, and he had Isaiah to thank for that.
Yup.
That was my first thoughts. Like, oh no.
Yeah. So, yeah, that basically that fills in how that plot hole, how he was able to get the serum again. But man, it was I really looked at him just like, dude, that sucks. It could have if that was the case, it's totally a believable situation that they would put his ass in jail for like 3 decades just because he's just for experimentation because he's a black man at the end of the day.
There's also symbolic way that scene is shot. Like right when Isaiah's going on about like how he was thrown in jail. It's actually that picture on the screen actually.
Yeah.
If you zoom out of it just a little bit, it's almost exactly the way like Sam is just looking disappointed while the police sirens are in his back because symbolism.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Then to touch on that scene, Sam frustrated that there's a black man, there's a black super soldier for decades and no one knew about it, and then the police show up and they assume it's an argument happening, and they Sam's like that we're just talking. They ask for his IDs and want to give it to him, and it's a similar situation that happens again and again with police brutality and police harassment in the U.S. And then
it's like, oh, Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you because you didn't have your goggles. Sure.
Again, reaffirming that Colin Kaepernick aspect, the celebrity aspect, like they'll harass your ass until they recognize who you are, and then next they'll back off. So then like now you'll back off because you know who I am. Like it's fucked up.
And then Bucky says, I didn't tell anyone about Isaiah because, like, A, he's been through enough, and B, if I did tell Steve or someone else, what would have happened?
Yeah, actually, that's the question I'm gonna ask you too. Do you think Bucky made the right decision not telling Steve about Isaiah?
No, you can go first, Declan.
I think Steve would have became Nomad a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And not have taken that shield back up. I mean, like, given the man that Steve was, I think any faith in the U.S. government or the ideals that he tried to stand for would have been shaken to its core. I don't think Bucky had the. I don't think he had that choice. I think he should have told Steve. I don't think he should have let himself keep it a secret. I think it was irresponsible, especially this show doesn't really tell us if Steve is alive or not. I think that's something Steve should have known before he died, at least.
Yeah. If he is even dead, we don't know.
Right.
Yooni, what your thoughts on this?
So I saw this being discussed on other social media platforms. It's like let's say again if Bucky told Steve there's another Cap who's an African American and was treated like a guinea pig, then Steve obviously already on shaky grounds with the government would just say, you know what, I'm gonna just go shit on the president's forehead.
Yeah.
Even if that, and there's another thing to consider is Isaiah. It's like if Bucky went public or just told Steve, would Isaiah like to be reminded of the fact that for all his heroic service he got tossed in the brig and then treated as a guinea pig? So in a way, while I don't think Bucky should have kept it to himself, I can at least understand why. Because after a certain point, this is just what I've read on.
Hello, Yooni, you still there? No, I think we lost. Hello?
Oh, I could hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hear Yooni at all. Yeah, okay. So we'll have Yooni fix his issues. But But actually, wait, hold on. Yooni, you good?
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So continuing on what I said earlier, at some point, like Isaiah probably just didn't want any reparations because he's been through enough and just wanted peace, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I also think Bucky should have told Steve, but at the same time, I get why he did it.
Okay. I mean, for me, I mean, I understand why, but I feel like it's still not a good idea to not tell someone something like important because that could have gone like well, not even maybe not like Isaiah being like okay, like like meeting Steve or like maybe like I want to see what would happen if like Isaiah actually like met Steve and like that conversation, if it would benefit them both or not at all. But
I
yeah,
I think I saw somewhere like I got the feeling Isaiah wouldn't be happy to see Steve since
that's true.
it's like yes, Steve is an icon of America, but he's also like half the reason everything happened to Isaiah's life, what happened the way it did.
I don't think Steve would have gone back in time either. Like, especially because like him going back in time would have meant that like he would have been complicit in this process
Mm-hmm.
of Isaiah being experimented on, and he wouldn't have been able to do anything. So I think knowing that would have caused Steve to stay in the present and try and work on things in the present rather than go back in time.
Yeah, word. All right, so yeah, we'll just move on real quick because we're just trying to keep on track. But yeah, we get the infamous
Couples
uh
therapy.
a couples therapy stuff. That because
Well,
Bucky got arrested, and then obviously John Walker, being the arrogant asshole he is, busted him out.
you notice his wording there? He's too valuable an asset.
Yeah, dude. uh, but the most important thing about this scene in particular is that Sam asks, like Bucky asks Sam, like, why do you give up the shield? And Sam's like, why do you care something about so much that has nothing to do with you? And we get, what Bucky's thoughts on how he actually feels, and that, because the fact that you just threw the shield away makes me think that, like, Steve's judgment about you was wrong. So if he was wrong about you, then he was inevitably wrong about me. So yeah, what were your thoughts on that scene?
I think it was very interesting. It was a good scene to set up the conflict between the two. There wasn't really necessarily like a clear reason for them to be all grumpy couple with each other for most of the first half of this episode until they finally like were forced to sit down and have that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yooni, what about you?
I think this is the one time where I sort of didn't like. I won't say I didn't understand Bucky, but I felt like Sam was in the right in terms of these balancing issues. Where it's like, throughout the episode, it seemed like Bucky wasn't trying to understand where Sam's mindset was. He was just like, "Oh, you shouldn't have given up the shield on repeat." So,
Mm-hmm.
and Sam's just like, "Yeah, this is something you'll never understand, but like, I did what I felt was right,"
Mm-hmm.
which very chilling delivery, but like the most poignant line in that sequence, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I really like that line. It's a very, finally, like, Bucky, expressing his emotions right way, which I thought was great. But yeah, I mean, right after this happened, I mean, John Walker, tries to get them to work together, and like Sam and everybody told him that we can't. So then,
Yes, get the attention of those two with a police siren after what
which I
happened.
hated. I was like, you arrogant fucks. Like, what? Like, like, oh my God. Like, how entitled can you be to use a police car as a toy to get their attention? Like,
Like
oh,
you can even just like say hey, or like you just whistle or something or other.
exactly. But yeah, like, they never really just like, John Walker basically gives them, the threat of, stay out of my way. And then you get that cool shot of like, him like turning around and you see the shield and you're like, yeah, that's how yeah, the shield's in the wrong hands. And yeah, so what are your and inevitably like they're gonna start, they need an edge, they need a lead on the Flags Mastered and like where the super soldier serum came from. So then it basically leads them trying to like go to Zemo finally. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? To like close off episode 2.
Yeah, I mean most of the Zemo stuff happens next episode. But I thought like the ending was nice and concise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought these first 2 episodes were great. Just like the cinematography was awesome, the shots were awesome, the themes were awesome, acting was awesome, action was awesome. Like I felt like everything just worked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think next episode did as benefited as well from all the things that made these first 2 episodes good.
Gotcha. All right, Yooni, what are your thoughts just to close out this episode?
This is definitely a step above the pilot episode, which I mean, it benefits from not having to be the pilot. So better action, more character interactions, which in turn shows us what's going on in their mindsets. And also, there's a lot of symbolism in the fact that they're trying to trace the origin of Cap's powers by going to the country that's basically the whole reason why it was created in the first place.
Mm-hmm. True.
Even the classic piece they're playing, it's a Mozart song, and Mozart's from Germany.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, which I didn't really pick up on. That's actually a really good point. But yeah, for me, I love this episode a lot. It's my favorite episode. Just that Isaiah reveal, just showcasing like the darker side of Cap's, that Shield's legacy of Cap's legacy was just phenomenal. And obviously, like seeing our boy, Eli, with more Young Avengers seasoning, them sprinkling more Young Avengers.
Do you think it's going to be young? Do you think it's going to be Young Avengers, or do you think it's going to be Champions?
I hope it's Young Avengers.
I mean, we got the whole lineup basically, right? Except for Hulkling and Iron Lad, right? We've got the whole lineup at this point, right?
Basically, yeah. I don't know if Iron Man will be in it, but
I mean, King is going to be in Fantastic Four, or not Fantastic Four. King,
Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man. So that could bring Iron Lad.
Yeah. Yeah, which is but this episode was awesome. I really dug it. And also like that the social commentary was spot on, just like the previous one, but a lot more direct in this episode. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then we'll just move on to episode 3 now, the one that came out today. Yeah, so obviously that begins with Bucky finding Zemo in prison, and he immediately says the words, and you're just like
This immediately says the word. It's like Uno reverse card. I tried.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like then they like the whole like breakout happens, which I thought was really cool. The fact that he was giving Sam a hypothetical, but turns out he already did it. That was so fun. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on like Zemo's, like return to the MCU? I love it.
Zemo's awesome. I feel like they're kind of setting him up to be like a bad Batman. Is the feels I got, like an evil aristocratic Batman.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I saw the behind. No, sorry. I thought you were done, Declan. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to say, like, even he didn't really do anything that evil this episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He did not. And the thing is, like, man, do you think Zemo got like blipped? Do you think he got blipped or no? Because I don't think they touched on that, if he was blipped or not.
I want to say no, because he's unusually calm about it.
Yeah, like it would be interesting. I hope he wasn't, so that he had like all 5 years just to like scheme, which I think would be nice. But yeah, Zemo coming in, I was like, oof, it's about to be good, because I've been waiting for Zemo to come back ever since Civil War. Cause I didn't really like him that much in Civil War, but yeah, man. So then we also get that reveal that Zemo actually is actually a baron and is rich. You know, it's kind of a retcon in a way because they didn't touch on they made it seem like Zemo was a normal guy who was an ex-military guy in the in Civil War.
Well,
Yeah, so
I mean, Mikey, we kind of talked about it before the podcast, though, didn't we?
I believe so. I don't remember.
So, I mean, I know in the MCU he's Sokovian, but I was pointing out to Mikey in Germany.
Yeah.
Most of the nobles had to give up their titles between the world wars, and the second guy that was in charge of Germany, the one with the fancy mustache, was like, no, only I get to be noble. Which but that's only the comic side, so I don't really know how that would explain the Sokovian side.
I think Baron got away with that by being part of like Hydra,
It could be.
I don't even think he was a part of Hydra. I think he just knew, he was just obsessed with them and just decided to know all about. I don't think he was Hydra at all.
Oh no, I meant in the comics. Like I think he escaped having to like relinquish his title because he like worked under the bad guy with the mustache.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, word. Okay.
I mean, it's not entirely like out of place for a royal to serve in the military. Like even like now, like we saw like Prince Harry served in the military for a bit, and he's now pushing for like a Korea-esque mandatory military service in England because it's like it straightened me out.
Exactly. So I mean, I thought it was cool. I mean, because now that like we can actually call him from like Baron Zemo now because he technically was a Baron, and the fact that it was interesting, like he was an aristocrat, he was a royalty until the old Sokovia event happened, and the Avengers fucked up his country. Which that was really interesting. But yeah, man, I'm loving the whole, especially like his bunker was like his car garage is where he got his fancy cars and we get the jacket and the whole outfit.
Yeah. Actually,
that I love.
Mikey, did the MCU ever like tell us where in Europe Sokovia was?
I would assume it was like.
I think it was in the Baltics, right? Because
so like realistically, it could have been part of the Soviet Union.
Could have,
because they have a Russian accent, like Slovakian,
like a Slovakian, like a Slavic accent. So
okay.
I don't know.
Okay, because I was gonna say that him being, I guess, retconned into a Baron also acts as social commentary, considering most of the former Soviet states, regardless of whether they're democratic or something else on paper, still more or less are ruled by quote-unquote royal families, especially Belarus.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, his country is right next to Latveria, the Kingdom of Latveria.
Okay, so like it could have been a Soviet state, which just hammers my point in.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I'm joking because we don't know where Latveria is either.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's Doom's Kingdom.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a rich dude, and I love how Sam's like, dude, you've been rich this entire time. He's like, yeah. But yeah, so they eventually so the reveal like where they're gonna go to find out knowing from the super soldier serum is that they go to the reveal that they go to Madripoor, and me and Declan were saying this before, we're just like X-Men, Wolverine, because Wolverine in the comics goes there all the time when he's on his patch.
No, I knew that too, but the impression I got is like obviously, and Marvel Studios just got them back. It's like there's no way like they'll introduce them this quickly. They'll just sprinkle in like Easter eggs and references here and there. So that's kind of like what got me a little like annoyed about the reactions to this episode. Everyone's like X-Men, like no.
I wanted X-Men. I don't know. It's such a weird country or a weird place in Marvel mythos to utilize.
Where in the planet is it even?
I heard it was like Indonesia. I heard it was like off the coast of like Indonesia or something. That's what I heard.
So it's basically the worst parts of Thailand and the Philippines like merged into one.
Yeah, but like they could have easily used like Thailand or the Philippines. Like they'd have to use Madripoor. Like that name has a bit of a connotation with Wolverine.
It does, yeah. Yeah, but I think it's and it's established as like it was for centuries. It's been like like a hub for like pirating and pirates, and it's just it's kind of like a wild west for like bounty hunters and like pirates and like assassins, which I love.
Or Hong Kong under British rule. Again, commentary.
Or basically essentially Hong Kong under British rule.
Sorry, I just really like history, so it's like there's a lot.
No, dude, it's all good. You're fine, but yeah, like we also see the Princess Bar, where it's in the comics is where Wolverine always loves to go when he's in his patch. So that was a cool Easter egg. But yeah, like we get that that cool and setup where they talk to someone named I think like I read the woman's name, but
Zombie.
yeah, yes, yeah, that person. But them she knows like she mentions like Dr. William Nagel, who is the man who just recreated the super soldier serum, and Sam gets his cover blown when his sister calls his phone, and then she gets shot. We don't know who shot her, and then they just all hell breaks loose, like there's a bounty on their heads,
Yeah,
and then we get
it's like the ending of John Wick.
yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
like it's like I was when I was talking to I think I was talking to Rebecca. I was watching this with Rebecca this morning. Shout out to Rebecca. It was like freaking like this is like fast. This is literally a Fast and Furious. Like we're watching the Fast and the Furious.
I mean, we find out who shot her a few scenes later.
Was it?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we get that reveal. That Sharon Carter is back and is in Madripoor. So what are your thoughts on her return to the MCU?
Thank God she has something to do.
God,
Yeah.
I think she's the kingpin. I forget the name, the boss maker or whatever.
You think the power broker?
Yeah, the power broker. Yeah, I think she is the power broker.
I mean, that would be a cool reveal. I don't know, because the thing is, like in the comics, power broker is not like really like a person. It's like more of like an organization that have
the shadow broker in Mass Effect.
Basically. But is they've made their own super soldier serum and they give it out to clients, but they add an addictive component to it, so they always keep coming back, so they keep making more money, and that's how John Walker and Battlestar got their super soldier serum in the comics. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad she's back because I literally been saying it's like she shouldn't have because in the promotional material for Civil War she was supposed to be fighting alongside Cap and they cut all that stuff out. So but now, we actually get to see her in action, and her being like, "Yo, fuck America," because they treated me like shit.
It's like what a shock! The government,
great.
what a shock! Our government's terrible.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to think she because at the end not the end when they leave, she's meeting up with somebody that it seems like she's in an organization of sorts, and we know the only real organization right now is S.H.I.E.L.D, and it doesn't seem like that's S.H.I.E.L.D jurisdiction. So maybe she is a part of that organization, I guess, if she's not the singular. Either that or maybe Wolverine is the power.
Oh boy.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Most definitely not.
I do like how she's like, yeah, if I'm gonna be a hustler, might as well live like one. Yeah, look. Oh yeah, you sure? You totally stole them. Yeah, I did. Excuse me?
Yeah, she's literally she's exploiting, she's taking an advantage of being essentially an enemy of the state and of just being a criminal because she deals in stolen modern art and stolen artwork, which I think is funny. But yeah, I love that she's back. I really do.
And then she hosts a party straight out of Fast Five.
It's this entire episode when the moment it gets her, it's literally Fast and Furious, and I love it. But yeah, man. Then after that, they encounter William Nagel at his secret lab in the shipping container yard.
I would just like to say I think that because Madripoor, it's beautiful. The entire environment is just beautiful. Then we get a bunch of scenes of these shipping containers. I think that they ran out of budget for this. By making Madripoor so beautiful. I think they ran out of budget and they said, all right, this is a holding shipping port. We're going to film the rest here.
The skyline looks relatively VFX though, but the shipping port, the shipping port, even the eagle eye view seemed realistic enough, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's true. I give it that. I think it was weird, we get this beautiful Madripoor, especially when we talk about low town and high town,
Oh, can I mention something real quick?
That was really cool. The shipping container, yard. I'm come on now.
I mean, it kind of gets the John Wick vibes. And no, I wanted to mention something earlier. I just thought it was funny, but no, it's on their way to Madripoor, and they're talking about Steve's like belongings and the book, and he's like, "Did you listen to Marvin Gaye?" He's like, "No, I didn't."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
he's
God.
just like Zemo's just like he's just like, "Oh yeah, it totally encapsulates the African American experience." Like, he's right, but no. He's like, and he's like, and it's later like I look like a pimp. He's like, only an American thinks that I'm European. All right.
Yeah, that I love that little conversation. That was pretty funny. They mentioned the whole Trouble Man thing from Winter Soldier. That was great. But yeah, so William Nagel, you get that reveal that like he was a Hydra dude. And when Hydra disbanded, the CIA took him on to continue his work, and then he almost got there. Then the snap happened, and he was dusted, and then he came back. The program was gone, so he just went to Madripoor to continue his work, and a power broker basically funded his stuff. And the reveal is that he made 20 vials, and Carly Morgenthau, aka the Flag Smasher, took 8 of them. No, has only used 8 of them so far. So there's 12 vials still out there that are used. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that reveal?
What's interesting is like, so before in the Marvel universe, whenever the U.S. government did something bad, it was Hydra. Like, oh, surprise, it was Hydra. Now it's just the U.S. government being bad. Like, I think
exactly.
It's the CIA. It's like it's the military. It's like there's no one else to blame now, which I think it's cool that like they're like holding the actual U.S. government accountable and not just like using Hydra as a scapegoat.
Again, like history and the whole Hydra thing. I mean, again, they said it in Winter Soldier. It's Operation Paperclip, which was an actual thing. So
yeah,
right. But also like we had a lot of institutional issues before we brought all the German scientists over, but yeah, I think it's interesting. I think one of those 12 vials is definitely going to go to John Walker.
Yeah.
Sometime in this series.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think it also kind of reflects that the Flag Smashers are not that different from the government, because you'd think to get their point across, they would have just used all the vials right away. But nope, there's only 8 of them. So if Carly's the leader, it seems like she's being very selective about who gets the serum.
Also, like later on, we're kind of showed that Carly doesn't have the most pure morals.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, my favorite thing about this scene, I mean, especially when like shit hits the fan, is like we see Zemo in the full mask and the full outfit, and it's like, fuck yes, this is what we wanted.
I do like his valor though. He's just like he could have ran, but he's like, nope, just gonna kill everyone. It's like, let's go in the car.
Yeah, because then again he kills Nagel, and like literally I said this when I was watching it this morning. I was like, yo, what happened again? The man who made the serum dies again.
So yeah, and then he just comes back in the car. It's like, yeah, now let's be in the Fast and Furious movie for real.
Yeah,
but you're not gonna move your seat up. What do you think?
Exactly.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite line from that episode.
Yeah.
Also, Agent Carter just like whacking fools with that metal bead. That was awesome. She had the best fight scene.
No, I saw them like, where was all this during Civil War? Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like she got one kick on the Winter Soldier and then got like punched away, and that was it.
Dude, literally, like I literally watched it. Was like, dude, this is why did they cut her out? Like, why did they remove that involvement from the movie? Because she's fucking whooping ass in this. I would love to see her fight Black Widow. I
bet she could beat Black Widow in a fight.
I mean, for one, she's like 4 inches taller, so
that is true. She has reach. Emily VanCamp is pretty tall.
I did also look at some like behind the scenes and like interviews. I think Emily VanCamp like said she didn't want to return until like Kevin Feige like basically promised her you'll get to do more, and she's like fine.
Exactly. Yeah, because like I would be pretty pissed off if I was promised that I was gonna have a big role in this movie or like a prominent role in this movie, and it's swiped aside. So I can imagine.
Imagine being casted as Agent Carter, as Shannon Carter, or sorry, is it Shannon or Sharon?
Sharon. She's Agent in the comics. She's Agent 13. That's her name.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, imagine being her. Like the most prevalent like badass woman in Captain America mythos, and being side casted as like a romantic interest for Steve in one film, and that's all you do. Like, imagine how insulting that must be.
Dude.
I get the feeling the sequel trilogy trio just added her to the group chat out of pity. It's like, we understand you, why? Here you go.
Exactly. Yeah, but her action scenes were pretty dope. Like that, especially when I saw like the second trailer for the show where they showcased her reveal. I was like, dude, I'm fucking ready for this shit. It's I don't know if we're gonna see her again because I'm assuming they're gonna leave Madripoor. But she does make the deal. Sam makes the deal with her, like, yo, like if you help us out, I'll try to clear your sentence. So your name. So, and
I feel
again,
like there's got to be more there, right? Like, I feel like it's not that simple, especially with the last scene where she gets in the car. There's got to be something. There's something.
exactly.
Honestly, the vibe I got was that she was going to be Sam's love interest this time.
I don't know. I didn't get that.
Because I think
honestly,
because I read an interview somewhere like Anthony Mackie like said, I wanted, Falcon to get with Black Widow, and obviously that's not happening. And I don't know, that's as of all the modern characters, like Sharon's the closest to Black Widow, so I thought that was the vibe I was getting. But
I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting that. I mean, what I wanted to be with Sam.
Awkward, I feel like.
I mean, what I wanted to be with Sam, like, I would I'm curious to see how that would work, but I don't really want. I just like her standing on her own.
That is correct.
Yeah, but I mean, like Agent 13, you got y'all did her justice. I was so happy that she got her due. But yeah. So after that, we get Carly's real the intended where she blows up
Innocent.
what was it, an outpost, like a camp with like resources?
Like basically she basically went to a Red Cross like outreach camp and then blew it up.
No, not only blew it up, tied up the guards, stole all their resources, said wave bye-bye, and then blew it up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this like before, but yeah, we get more. The beginning episode starts with like a commercial from the Global Recreation Council, who are assisting the people who came back during the blip.
And it's something straight out. It's something straight out of Donate Blood and the American Cancer Society.
It really is, yeah. It was pretty impressive. But yeah, she like hates them so much where she ties all of them up and blows up the building, and it's like, holy fuck. And it's kind of wild that like the previous scene before that was her like someone I'm assuming close to her dies, and basically like showing like she was trying to get this her motivation was to save her life, with like this, I'm assuming with the serum, I don't know, but
it's history teacher again. Sorry. No, that scene is one of the like, it's a show not tell part, but it's one of the it relates to one of the arguments against taking in Syrian refugees, in the sense of we're going to all devote our resources towards them and not take care of our people already here.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the commentary they're making with that, I guess. But
I feel like also part of the commentary, like these guys also have like an idea, like no borders, no governments sort of thing. Like I think also it might be like a commentary on political extremism through like revolution, if that makes sense.
It's basically the same thing as Eric. It's basically the same thing as Killmonger. The right ends, but the wrong means to it.
Right,
exactly.
And kind of like the ends corrupting like what the means are in that process.
For sure. Yeah, but like that scene is
wrong. The means. I don't know if I said that. The means corrupting the ends. I don't know.
The ends justifying the means.
Yeah, my mind was like, wait, did I just say the ends? Yeah.
We got it.
Okay.
But yeah, man, that scene where like, especially the guy like be like, yo, I'm working with a crazy person. Like, because he said this is what sends a message like nowadays. And I was like, dude, this is
very historically accurate for
revolutionary. Although now that you mentioned that, we forgot to mention earlier John bursting into that shelter.
Oh yeah. Man, fuck that guy. Again, screw this dude.
Straight out of the Patriot Act.
Exactly.
And another social commentary on American imperialism and interventionism.
Exactly. The fact that like, because I love that scene where like when the dude from the internet cafe who gives the Flag Smashers refuge in the last episode was like spits in his face and he's literally just like, do you know who I am? And he's like, dude, I spit on you. No, that I know. Of course, I know who the fuck you are. Like, and I don't care. Like again, John Walker again showing like his crazy ego and his entitlement to this mantle of Captain America and how he's inevitably abusing it.
There's
And the
also
fact that like
yeah.
later on, like Lamar Hoskins is like, questioning like his motives a little bit. Maybe he's going a little bit off the rails. So I'm sorry.
No, sorry, Mike. You can finish
Good.
up.
No, I'm good. No,
Was,
you can say what you want to say.
No, Lamar was, and John's also like, yeah, what do they get? It's like, what do the higher ups care if they get the result they want? I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
There's also.
To be fair, Bucky broke Zemo out of jail.
All right, yeah. No, also earlier when John's like, Lamar, can you translate for me?
And he didn't know it. I was like, oof, that's so good. Like I love that.
That's another commentary on American troops in European or like just countries that don't speak English. It's like they need somebody on base that can speak it, or just find a local that speaks English, which is another, which is another side of American imperialism. But
that's true. But yeah, that these two scenes, especially like the Flag Smasher and the beginning with John Walker, really showcase that. Like because the first two episodes were focusing more like on the gray areas of things, but now they're actually focusing more like like these guys. These are some bad people that we're talking about here. So I thought was really cool.
John needs the therapist.
He does.
I think John, as like a dichotomy to Captain America was like he took up that mantle representing America as the people, whereas like John Walker kind of took up that mantle representing America as the government, and like that's kind of how I feel like both of them reflect the different sides of America. Also, I think John Walker is not like totally unhinged right now, but we're seeing parts of his personality because like when you take the super serum, it amplifies. I think like the quoting the first Avenger was like, if there's good in you, it makes you great. If there's bad in you, it makes you evil or whatever.
It makes you worse.
Yeah,
he doesn't even have the serum, which is the interesting part.
Yeah, so I think like he's like a normal enough guy right now. I think he's going to get that serum and it's going to amplify all of that like arrogance and stuff.
Funny you mentioned the first Avenger though, Declan, because I was gonna say he kind of reminds me of Gilmore Hodge, the perfect soldier, the bully.
Oh yeah.
Even in the second episode, they were like, yeah, he played football in high school. He did all this stuff. Like, did this guy peak in high school and then just went to the army after? I mean, he didn't because he went to. I mean, obviously he didn't because he got into West Point, which is obviously a very difficult school to get in. But
Yeah, but like, dude, it's just I love that. Like, I love that. Like, it's both like again we're showcasing that like no, these even though like there are aspects or like reasons to like these characters, but then they like no, they're still bad people, or they're never going to in the path of being bad people. In the case of John Walker, whereas Carly, no, she's a bad dude because she just murdered a bunch of people and didn't give a shit.
I wonder if John Walker, like the way that they're setting up his character, he's very much like he's more fleshed out than like the director from WandaVision, who name escapes me, who is like clearly a bad
Hayward. Guy. I think Hayward is his name.
Something like that. Yeah,
clearly a bad guy from the get-go. Like I think the way that they're making John Walker more three-dimensional kind of makes me assume that like he might come up again in the future. Again, like I don't know why, but I think Marvel is building up towards a Thunderbolts team, and I think Zemo and John Walker might be on it.
which we'll talk about in theories, but so just to wrap this episode. Oh, sorry, like I'm trying to like move things along, but to wrap this episode up, so I think they're in like Slavia or something. I forget where they are at the end of the episode. They're going on another lead, and we get Bucky noticing something on the ground, and it looks very familiar. And then he follows it, and he's like, "Yo, I know you're there." To reveal, that, you know, again, because early episode, he was talking about, yo, like, Sam mentioned, yo, like, Wakanda probably is going to come after this dude because, you know, they kind of killed King T'Chaka. If we break this guy out, it's going to be a problem. And so we find out that, yeah, Wakanda's on his ass. And we get the reveal of Io from Black Panther, played by Florence Kasumba. But yeah, dude, I flipped my fucking shit when I saw this, bro. I was like, oh my god, let's go! Like, I just, woo. Yeah. Well, sorry. What are your thoughts on this end reveal, guys?
It's amazing, but
I'm excited for next episode. Like that's, I don't know. This episode kind of seemed like a way to deliver plot, and it didn't really feel too emotional or like substantial in any parts. But like this made me feel very excited for next episode because I think there's going to be some more more depth to it, like there was in the last two.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Yooni, what were you gonna say?
No, it was just like, so like dynamics gonna get even more interesting. Is it gonna be like Civil War where T'Challa was just like, I just want Barnes dead and nothing else, or?
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's like I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. I mean, obviously, because Bucky is a friend to Wakanda because, you know, he was the White Wolf during his rehabilitation.
So is Sam by being on the anti-registration side.
Yeah, that's true. As well as like even just fighting on Wakanda, like they're allies. But, you know, again, Zemo killed King T'Chaka, and the fact that he's not in prison anymore is a problem. So like, yeah. And the fact that they caught on to it, which proves how effective the fucking war dogs are. Because like the moment he escapes, they're already on that shit already, and it's like, dude. But yeah, like I love the whole like Sam, like he knew that it was a Kamoyu bead. I didn't realize it until I heard like the score and was like, wait a minute, like what's happening? But yeah, man, I think it's like I'm curious. Here's a question: do you think how do you think they're gonna address? Because now, obviously, now that like, you know, our dear Chadwick is gone. Do you think that they're gonna address like T'Challa?
I don't know.
As like in the next episode or not?
I actually thought that like it was gonna be like Chadwick Boseman there until he passed away, sadly.
I mean, that would have been even better if that was the case.
Black Panther 2, the production's halted for the time being, right?
No, it's still going.
Really?
Still going. Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to directly mention anything that's happening in Wakanda, just because like the way that this that storytelling in the comics has been going, or sorry, storytelling in the spin-off series has been going, they seem to be more accompaniments than like their own things. So I don't think they'd make a major change or like reveal something major in another franchise that like you would have to watch this series to understand like what happens in the next Black Panther. Just because like that just seems to be the trend with like WandaVision as well. Yeah, I'm interested because like, God, now the show's like kind of muddy. No one's good. Everyone's done bad things.
That's true. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward. The thing is, like, I remember Florence Kasumba as Io since Civil War, and like, you know, she's just been in the background ever since. So now seeing her in the forefront, maybe we'll see like an action scene of like what she can really do, because she's also an accomplished stunt woman as well. To see like more deep dive on her character, because again, like they're always doing deep dives of these characters in the show. So yeah, I'm very excited, and I'm very to see that dialogue between her and the White Wolf, as they will come, that as they call him. But yeah, man, this was my favorite part of this episode. I love this episode a lot.
Again, I'd like to revoke my comment. Sam Wilson has not done anything wrong. Like literally, he's the only guy in all of this.
That's true. That's true. I'm curious to see what Io's interaction with Zemo. Are they gonna? What if they just gave them Zemo immediately? Because it's fucking Wakanda, for Christ's sake. So like, you know, that'd be funny. Like Bucky would be like, nah, we're not. So he'd be like, no, you can fucking have him. Go ahead.
Do they need Zemo? He kind of already used him, you know?
Yeah.
My only like comment about that, which kind of alludes to my theory for the next part,
Yeah.
is I hope it's probably not going to happen, but I hope Wakanda gives Sam a new shield.
That would be cool.
It's just like the same. It's the same thing, but better. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
That'd be cool. It would make sense how, like, because in the other material, in other trailers that we see Sam with the shield and Bucky with the shield, them using it together. So either he steals it from John or they just make him a new one. Would be kind of cool. One of like pure vibranium, probably.
I
That'd be
mean, isn't the original also like technically pure vibranium?
it's mixed with something. I mean, I don't know if it's pure vibranium or if it's like the comics where it's mixed with other materials.
Okay. But would pure vibranium be stronger? I guess that's a debate for another
Probably,
day.
yeah. But yeah. So any other thoughts on this episode before we go on to the theory segment?
No, I think I'm done with my comments.
All right, gotcha. Yeah. So theory time. So any thoughts on what you guys think will happen for the next rest of the season? I mean, okay, Declan, want to get out the way now? What do you think will happen at like, the end of the show?
Sure. So
Yeah.
I think Thunderbolts is being set up in here.
They're setting up Thunderbolts, I think.
I mean,
I told you, I think if they don't kill Zemo off at the end of the show, that is a clear indicator that they're doing Thunderbolts.
I think either Zemo and Walker are both going to die, or they're going to be reused in Thunderbolts. Besides that, I think one of the people associated with the show said that something is going to happen associated with Mandapore that changes like the MCU at large, or some vague something like that. So like that's why a lot of people thought Wolverine was going to show up in Mandapore. So like something's going to happen with Mandapore, I assume, unless it's like similar to John or Paul Bentley, the Vision, like making that cheeky joking comment that like there's going to be a Skywalker cameo.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's another red herring, but hopefully not. So like I think Sharon Carter is going to be a bad guy. That's my claim. I think Sharon Carter is going to be a bad guy, or part of an organization, I guess that might not be.
I mean, again, just to reiterate, like, I mean, the Thunderbolts, I would love, because like that would be awesome. I mean, I don't know if like the Thunderbolts, because again, yeah, like if they don't kill Baron Zemo off, that's a clear indicator. I mean, U.S. Agent also probably will be on it as well. I think we said our roster was. I said it was going to be either it was going to be U.S. Agent, Baron Zemo, Taskmaster doesn't die, and Abomination maybe, or Red Hulk, either Red Hulk or Abomination.
And
I would also
Batroc the Leaper.
I would also like Batroc the Leaper as a joke character, to be a part of it, as well as maybe I don't know, like either Flag Smasher or maybe Florence Pugh's Black Widow, the Yelena Belova's Black Widow as well to be on the roster if they do Thunderbolts. I mean Hawkeye as well, because like Hawkeye is a member. That he's getting his own show, and we don't know what's gonna happen at the end of that of his series. But yeah, man, Thunderbolts for audience, but essentially Marvel's Suicide Squad. I feel like they were gonna do it because they're not gonna let DC get away with their Suicide Squad. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they announced, oh yeah, we're doing a Suicide Squad, we're doing Thunderbolts, like 2 weeks after the movie the Suicide Squad comes out. So but yeah, like Thunderbolts, man, that'd be dope. I do think that Sharon Carter either is working with the power broker or is the power broker. But like but it's kind of weird how like, they would it kind of bothers me how like she didn't like, see like either Zemo or Bucky killing Nagel and like not try to stop that. So that's why it's kind of like, leaning towards maybe it's like I kind of believe that, but like maybe she might not be. Maybe she has another agenda going on. But yeah, as well as Buck, fucking John Walker, or maybe both John Walker and Battlestar are gonna get juiced up by the end of the show. Basically,
gonna grow the muscles they had in the 90s.
Exactly. But yeah, like that's like what I have so far. I mean, as well as Eli, obviously Eli's going to be Patriot at the end of the day. So I mean, like, yeah, that's also going to happen. Uh, but yeah, Uni, what do you want? You want to give any of your theories on for the rest of the season?
So I only have two real theories in terms of how realistically they'll happen. So the first one is that Sam and Bucky will both be Cap in a way. Like Sam is the official successor, but Bucky will get his Cap costume, but be the Winter Soldier in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
With his own Cap costume, if you guys remember. Even though I'm not
Yeah,
particularly a fan of that, but whatever. And the second one is that Eli, when he becomes Patriot, it'll just turn out he had the serum in him the whole time because Grandpa passed it to Dad, and then Dad passed it to him.
yeah.
I think that's how it works in the comics.
No, that's
No.
not how it worked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He basically
like,
had a drug addiction, which obviously not
the
going
thing
to
is,
work.
like, the way with Isaiah, right? The super soldier serum that they gave him, what's it called? That they gave him, like, kind of made him sterile.
But the thing was, he
But
gave birth to Eli's dad just before.
no, it wasn't Eli's dad. It was he had a daughter before he went off to war, before he went off to be a super soldier. Like, she was pregnant. His girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and then that is Eli's mother.
Okay.
But then what happened was, yeah, like, he had a drug addiction in the Young Avengers because he was on, like, mutant growth hormone and almost fucking died. So he needed a transplant. Steve was gonna give him the transplant, but then turns out Isaiah already gave it to him before Steve got there, and that's how Elijah got his powers. But
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think instead of that, they'll just be like Isaiah just basically
yeah,
got it passed down as a hereditary trait.
exactly, yeah. Either that, or maybe that accident, or maybe got into an accident that needed a blood transfusion, and Isaiah was the only donor available. They could have done that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they do the genetic way, that means there's like two super soldier Captain America babies running around right now, right?
I mean, basically,
I'm also hoping like Sam also gets the serum because I feel like that's the only way he'll be able to quote unquote keep up.
I mean, I don't want that to happen at all.
Yeah. I mean, like in the comics, like that was kind of like the defining thing that he was just a human. Like he wasn't like Steve Rogers. He was Sam Wilson, and that's kind of like what defined him was he wasn't invincible. But
No,
like,
I do get that, but I don't know. It kind of feels like the bad parts of like Batman being human. That's why I wanted Sam to get the serum at some point, but that's a hero there. I don't particularly mind.
Yeah, the what makes Sam special is that, like, he's human. Like, he's not like, well, his physical humanity. Like, he's not Steve Rogers. He's not Bucky. Like, he doesn't have any like physical strength or like that. He just uses his wit and his tech and his skills that he's acquired as a superhero, and that's what's awesome about the
I
character.
mean, the way that they're setting it up right now, it seems like Sam wants to destroy the mantle, destroy the shield. Like he doesn't really think that is a worthwhile thing anymore. And Bucky wants to.
But it's like the Last Jedi. Let the past die.
Right, and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Bucky wants to protect it because like it's important to him. And like I think that would be a pretty cool ending. Like if it ended like that, like they fight and Bucky takes the shield and Sam decides to like make his own legacy and like try and be like an inspiration in his own way. But I think what's gonna happen is like a Disney moment where Sam like realizes that he could like reclaim the shield, like make it his own image, be his own Captain America, and like become Captain America. And John Walker is going to bitterly become U.S. agent in
Yeah. I mean, oh, sorry, I put an image of our boy because I can't wait. Good thing is, like, me and Declan were talking about this before. We were like, because Declan loves like the domino mask for Patriot. I like the full mask. I think it looks awesome. But like now that I've seen fucking Eli's fresh waves in the show, I want the domino mask now.
Yeah.
He has to showcase those waves.
I kind of expected him to have.
Fresh.
I'm expecting him to just have the full helmet, like Steve.
No, I don't want the full. I think the mask is good enough. It's kind of like a Bucky aspect. have
Honestly,
inspired suit.
Just a bit.
I think something that would be cool is if he had a helmet like Steve when he first became Captain America, like when he left
Oh
the
yeah, totally.
like just like a soldier helmet but blue and like nothing else. Like I think that would be interesting.
That'd be good. This is older helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I would expect Sam to. Well, he's gonna get the mantle. We all know that. We're gonna see that coming. Um, but yeah, and also I'm reading this run right now. Of Captain America, Sam Wilson, and and I'm enjoying it. So I'm very excited to see this suit in live action. Um, as well as like thing is like I said to myself, I'm not gonna lie, if I don't see this U.S. Patriot costume by the end of the show, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
We're gonna see it.
Yeah, like I need the full black.
Either it's gonna be right before the last episode, and then he's gonna die in the last episode, or I think it might be at the end of the last episode after like he gets the shield taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
as like a teaser for future things.
yeah, like I feel like I would be really cool to see like him get they take his regular uniform away, give him the black one at the end, and was like his version of the shield with like out the stars, like a dishonorable discharge, like a disgrace type thing. That'd be pretty cool. And he just gets again even just crazier and just more like egotistical.
Is it gonna be the ugly one with the US on it in the middle?
I would hope so. That'd be funny.
Or is it going to be the one that's a eagle in the shape of an eagle? Did you ever see that one?
I think so. Yeah. I would just prefer just with the I think it's just red and white, there's nothing else in it, like like the bland one. Because again, got to be disgraced. Let's go. Yeah, Yooni's mic died, so I think he's not talking right now. But yeah, man, Thunderbolts, John Walker and Battlestar getting juiced up. Sam obviously getting the mantle. Something Bucky actually like stepping away from Winter Soldier and being more like White Wolf. I hope would happen as well. Just to leave that past behind him. That'd be really cool. Because White Wolf in the comics is a Black Panther character, but has a different origin. Like just gave Bucky the name White Wolf in this.
He's like Black Panther's adopted brother, right?
He's like he's like an adopted a member of Wakanda, but he's a white man. Like he crashed landed in Wakanda and then became like the White Wolf. But yeah, which is never what Bucky is, to be honest with you. But yeah,
do you think that Walker is going to have a like redemption arc or go full heel?
I want him to. I mean, would he get a redemption arc? I mean, I wouldn't put that like. I'm not gonna like say that's not possible, but like I want him to go full heel. Like, dude, go fully commit to being an asshole. Like, please, that'd be great. Yeah, like that'd be, and just Battlestar just being like, yeah, I don't fuck with this dude anymore, so I'm out. Like,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
God, imagine both of them acting like the 90s extreme superheroes. Like, just imagine Cable's personality being imbued in them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Yooni had to head out, so that's why he had to leave. We're a little over time. But yeah, man, dude, this show, it's so good. We got like I mean, what about Agent 13? You think what if she isn't the power broker? You think she's a power broker? So what if she is? What do you think her plans are for? I hope she comes. I hope she's more utilized in the MCU, like further down the line. Hopefully,
I could see her if she isn't the power broker, potentially like trying to recreate something in the vein of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Captain Britain's involved.
I hope so. I want Captain Britain to show up. He better show up in the MCU, please. I love Captain Britain.
I only thought of that because like isn't Captain Britain a part of MI13?
Yeah, he's part of like MI13 or MI6, something like that.
My brain made that connection. Oh, Agent 13, MI13.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that would be sick. Because like that'd be so like this show at the end would like inspire other countries to then like have their own Captain Americas. So like Captain Britain, because like in the Ultimate Comics, if I'm trying to find an image, but in the Ultimate Cup, they have like a united, like the United Nations have their own, like, like United Super Soldier program where they have their own Captain America. So there was like a Captain Spain, a Captain France, a Captain Britain, who was the leader of like their group. It was outside of Captain America. Like, Captain America wasn't a part of it, but like Captain Britain was the leader of this initiative, and it was really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The only ones I know are Captain Britain, Captain America, and what's he called? The Red Soldier?
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, yeah.
Yeah. But in the Ultimate Universe, they expand on it. Like like a lot of like major countries had their own captain, and there was like an initiative, like an alliance that they did.
That's
Like a cool like super soldier program that they did. But yeah, dude, I'm just saying, like, if we don't see Thunderbolts, because shout out to Matt, he did not want, he didn't think the Thunderbolts would happen.
Ha.
But
Do you have money on that bet?
I will no, I will bet money on this shit. Sure, why
Yeah.
not? I will bet money that they're fucking doing the Thunderbolts. Like, why would they not?
Are you listening, Matt?
You listening, Matt? You listening there? They're gonna do they're going to do the fucking Thunderbolts. Watch, I'm
Mikey
telling
has
you.
broken into Marvel Comics.
Exactly, I have. I've broken into Marvel Studios and got the inside scoop.
Kevin Feige's bedroom and read his personal diary.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Dear
but
Lord, today
I'm trying to find an image. Yeah, gosh, I'm trying to find an image, but like of like the other captain, other captains in the Ultimate Universe. I can't find it, but yeah, man.
I feel like it's strange to kind of wrap our heads around where Phase 2 is even going, though, because like before
Phase
all
4,
of
you mean?
this, yeah, Phase 4, because we were supposed to have Eternals and Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Before any of these like live action miniseries. So like it's hard to theorize when like we're missing key components of like what these shows were supposed to be based upon, like the foundation for these shows.
Yeah, exactly. It's Eternals, man. That's never coming out. I don't think it's
Dude, I want to see Black Knight so bad.
I don't care about the Eternals, bro. I'm sorry, I don't.
Kit Harington's gonna be in the MCU.
I understand, but like, and also like Brian Tyree Henry, and I love that actor, but like, no, I don't give a shit. I'll watch it just to watch it. But anyway,
I agree with you. I'm only watching it for Black Knight.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway, so final thoughts as well as a final. Well, we're not gonna say final verdict. We'll just say final thoughts because the show hasn't wrapped yet. But like, final thoughts in these 3 episodes.
Final thoughts. I want more of the first 2 episodes, less of the 3rd episode. It felt like a filler anime episode.
I mean, I guess. I mean, the first episode I really love. Also, I'll say another theory. Another theory I'll have is that like I think that like Sam and Isaiah will sit down, actually have like an actual conversation on getting more of Isaiah's insights and maybe some advice for Isaiah for Sam going forward as Captain America. Because Isaiah was wronged and he would want some input on like how Sam could be the best Captain America he can, especially for not just the American people, but like for the African American community and Black community in this country. That'd be really cool. But yeah, this first episodes were really strong. I love that, especially the second one was fantastic. We had great character studies, great great social commentary, like great everything was great. The third episode again, I mean, you didn't really like it that much. I thought it was it was so much fun because it was just fast and it was basically the MCU's take on like a Fast and Furious type of like adventure, and just
I liked the first half. I'll give you that. I liked until the Fast and Furious ended. Then I didn't really like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Until it went from Tokyo Drift to like Tenet or Inception or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but again, like Zemo coming back, and again Zemo being like the Zemo that we wanted, ever since Civil War is just fucking great, and I love it. I mean, but we have to admit, right? The best fucking thing that came out of this episode was fucking Zemo dancing, bro. That motherfucker. That, I
Yes.
like the party scene where like they're all because again like
That has the emo Spider-Man energy to it, doesn't
it
it?
does. Like the fact that like Sharon's having her party because then she has clients, and then again like she's trying to get information while like just like trying to blend in, and you just see Zemo be like, yeah, I'm straight out of prison. I'm gonna fucking have some fun, freaking do my dance by myself, minding my own business. I thought it was so great.
These are his people.
They are. And I love how they say like Sam was like, yo, freaking Madripoor can can give New York a run for their money. And he's like, yeah, like these guys know how to fight. And he was like, yeah, they know how to party. And I thought it was so great.
Do we know who shot that RPG into the crate? It was like a bald dude.
I thought it was just a regular bounty hunter, but I don't know if it was someone of significance, but who knows? Maybe it was. I don't know.
We didn't see him get shot, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like, dude, look at this man. Look at this man. Like, just, dude, I love this. It's so good. But yeah, man. So, any other final thoughts before we wrap up, man?
I don't think so. Overall, pretty good.
Pretty good.
I like it.
Are you liking it more than WandaVision right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Same with me here. I'm really liking this a lot more. Even though like WandaVision was a successful experiment that worked really well. This is a more akin to like the MCU stuff we're used to. Again, like because I grew up watching like James Bond espionage type stuff, and I loved Winter Soldier, loved Civil War. So like seeing this stuff again, I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Like and the stuff that they're teasing and setting up, I think it's a lot better than WandaVision in my opinion.
My biggest thing is when like a piece of media doesn't respect your time. Like when it's purposely slow just to be slow and like pad out time. I feel like that happened a lot in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Especially after like episode 4. Whereas like so far I got it a little bit this episode, but like I haven't felt it too much.
That's true.
So like I still have hopes,
Yeah, same here. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see that point. I mean, I'm digging the whole. Especially these episodes are a lot longer, so they don't like hurt us inside when they end too quick. So
yes,
yeah, man, I'm very excited to see how this ends. And what happens in the next 3 episodes because we're halfway there. It's only 6 episodes this entire season. So yeah, man. Yeah. But okay, so I guess we'll wrap up. So again, thanks Declan, and then we'll shout out to Yooni for coming on as well. He had to go out, but I mean it's understandable. I appreciate it. But yeah, so again, we're gonna be doing our final review for the show, like when the show wraps up in like 3 weeks. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, so thanks for people who are watching this or have watched this. We appreciate it. And yeah, so be careful, be safe. Wash your damn hands, all that good stuff.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Get vaccinated.
Make sure to like that. Make sure to smash that like button. Ring the bell notifications after you subscribe. Do all that stuff.
Do all that. Yeah, all that shit. Do all of it. But yeah, we will catch y'all later. All right.